Hello. Hello. I'm Kyla Bursey, and welcome back to Hikylabur, where we are realizing our potential while protecting our mental. Thank you for showing up today as I continue to invite you to feel real still. Feel all that you are. Show up as your authentic self. Be present and wish me a happy birthday because today is my 22nd birthday. I have been missing a little bit this month of August with the second season of the Hikylabur podcast. I had a grand plan to continue interviewing and recording up until maybe the end of September, but the first week of August hit and that did not happen. Not because it was my birthday month, but life happens. And so I decided to come back today. It is 6:19 a.m. I wanted to get the beautiful sunrise in the background because this is another moment around the earth for me, around the sun. And I'm just so grateful to be here, to have reflected on all the amazing things that God has allowed me to accomplish since turning 21. And that starts with waking up this morning. So thank you, God, for waking me up this morning on this beautiful day. I'm spending it in Nashville with my beautiful family. The sun is rising that way, but privacy, you can't show you too much of where I live, but I'm in my backyard, just out here relaxing, meditating. And the next episode that I did want to release was to be a reflection. So here I am reflecting with my journal, my new journal. I am dedicating this journal to 22. I had a journal, my previous one I had since November of 2023. And that was around the time I started Hikylabur or was ideating on what I wanted it to be. I released in December, and then I very sparingly reflected in my journal. Since then, prior to that, I would fill up a journal per semester because I just had so much to say. But it's okay, we have our seasons, but I'm trying to get back in it. I decorated it really nice for myself, and I wrote a few things down, including 3 questions that were asked when I posted a few weeks ago, last month rather, what would people like to know, and I think I'll tie those in at the end of my episode. But firstly, I wanted to reflect on my 21 highlights, or highlights of me being 21. And we can sometimes get so caught up in life that we forget those little moments, those moments that, wow, I have really grown over this past year in good ways. I don't want to say bad. We can develop some bad habits over the past year, but what I'm trying to say is that things can happen to us that can be like really great, but they can also be really low moments that taught us something as well, or drew us closer to ourselves, our family, that friend, whomever, whatever. But today I have 3 key moments that really stuck out to me when I was thinking about this. After turning 21, I did a TED Talk in November, and that was a little bit after I just started senior year, and I actually came home for my birthday last year. This is my first year ever in a long, long time, since I can remember, not having school on my birthday or not being in school, so this is new. But I came home last year, and I actually stayed home like a week or 2 into the semester starting because I was just like really depressed and lost my love for school. I was the type of student, as I've shared before, I love to study, and I was just like, what is life if I don't even like or enjoy what I'm majoring in right now? And that's computer science. And after, a little therapy and sitting with those emotions. I was just burnt out. That doesn't mean I hate it. I don't want to do it ever in my life, but I was in need of a break, and it was just very fitting for that time of life to be over school, because it was really a new season was ending and I didn't know what was happening. So fast forward to getting myself together. Around that time I was so low. I think I had my TEDx draft due and I missed the deadline. But thank you to Miss Ayana Murray. I will thank her for years, for life, because she showed me what love means in each one of us, a reflection of what God represents, that patience. She had patience with me. She was very kind enough to not let this opportunity slip away from me. And I'm so grateful that I followed through with it. She allowed me the space to feel all that I was experiencing in that moment, trying to get back to Memphis to finish up senior year and really stay committed to this moment. And so doing that TEDx talk, it changed my perspective on life to say that I do have a voice. People do care about what I had to say. Around that time, I thought I came up with the best speech to my ability possible in that moment. But then that imposter syndrome began to set in, and I was like, well, do people really care about my story of going to a private school when, you think about the extremities of life? Well, some people can't afford that, or that was so silly. But once I actually got over that and actually did it, and in that moment they allowed the crowd that was at the in-person event, which is mostly people's friends and family, to reflect on the different parts of the program or prior speeches that they'd heard up to that point. And a lot of people emphasized the pace and grace, or really said they needed that reminder to slow down and allow themselves to actually feel through life and not rush themselves. And it was people's parents saying this, and I'm an adult, 21 at the time, but I'm like, well, I'm speaking to the youth. But it was such a universal message beyond that. On one level, looking at the story that I shared, maybe not everyone can relate to that, but as humans, we could put together parallels in our own lives to hear similar things. And I'm just so grateful for that moment. Subsequently, I did a few speaking engagements that spun off of that. I was also taking my entrepreneurship class. And that moment brought a lot of clarity in my life to say, well, what do I want to do? I am burned out from my major right now. I've pushed myself so hard, but I still have to finish or desire to finish college. I'm in so deep. And so through that time, taking on other activities and not forcing myself to continue to do the same things like tutor or do research, if I just knew that those things would make that feeling even worse. I was just in almost academic survival mode. I just need to get through the classes. Now, I just didn't pass. I did my best, but it was something I never experienced before. And that's why I changed my purpose statement to not only realizing my potential or in some way inspiring or motivating others to do the same, but also to make sure that we are holistic in our approach to life, to make sure that we are okay. And so the TEDx happened, a few speaking engagements, my classes that I was taking at the time, especially entrepreneurship, where I was actually brainstorming, like, how can I bring to life in light something that I feel like others need, but also that brings me satisfaction. And that led me to Hikylabur. And so December, I officially launched. Planning did go into it because I had to do an assignment on how I'd actually start this, like what equipment, how would I do that? And that really just came from Google, YouTube, researching. And I had the mindset that I'm just going to do it. I feel like this is not the type of business idea that you just sit on and make excuses. What if I had this or this moment, or what if I don't have enough to say, or what if I'm not old enough? Like, all those thoughts that maybe were there, they just went out the window, because I was like, I know that I have something to say and I would love to continue sharing. So then came January through May. I challenged myself to reflect in real time on what I was experiencing, and that was tough because I was experiencing life, but I was also like, I do not want to become an influencer or like share my life completely on social media. I'm just trying to share my mindset and see how it can influence is not the right word. Influencer was just on my mind. How it can encourage people to sit with themselves, not necessarily influence them in ways, like we see, like, oh, my stuff or be like me, but rather encourage you. I think that's a better word. Inspire you to want to influence yourself, if that makes sense, to become your best self based upon my types of reflections, that I was okay to confront myself eventually. And it wasn't easy to sit down with my thoughts because I was like, okay, I feel this way, but is it right? I don't know. So then I would kind of go back and forth with myself. And that's where therapy came in, but also just growing more comfortable with myself over time. And through that podcast, through this moment, and the 3 distinctive highlights, the TED Talk, my entrepreneurship journey through my senior year, and starting this podcast have been really transformational for me, and big moments highs of turning 21 last year. Now, today I'm 22, and I'm just so grateful once you actually look at the ebbs and flows, and that's all I'm choosing to share. But there's so much more that I have in my heart that I'm appreciating, that I am just overfilled with joy and happiness and love and forgiveness for those areas that I was like, okay, I could have done this. But if we focus on so much on the negative, the bad, what didn't happen, what didn't go right, then you miss all of those other beauties that were there, even if they were as small as getting up this morning. But I do have another one that I'm like really brushing aside. I graduated college. Like, that was amazing to me to actually start and finish, to see that happen. I met other students along the way that were in similar first generation positions, and it's not that, we know what first generation means, but psychologically that can be kind of challenging to say, okay, well, what's going to happen to me to prevent me from finishing college, whether it was our parents that went or life happens to other people. Or like my sister, she found that she loves cosmetology, so she just went a different path, and that opportunity is still open to her. But I'm inspired by that because she's like, well, I actually like this, and I don't have to fit into what society tells me I'm supposed to do. And now we do have much more freedom today than maybe other generations to just ease into life. And this summer, I hit the ground running after graduating to say I have to keep Hikylabur going. And I didn't necessarily crash and burn. Life just caught up with me because I intended to batch my episodes, but I kind of did, but then I was recording at the same time, and then interviews fell through on my behalf, had some technical difficulties, and had to move out my apartment, just life happenings. So life caught up with me, and I really wanted to sit down to reflect like I am now. But what more better moment than my birthday, and just really sitting here with a smile on my face, and I'm genuinely happy and excited for what this next year has in store for me. And I think this will be the last episode for Hikylabur. At this moment, I want to come back with more structure. I came out this season. Hi, Bryce. Good morning. I'm recording a podcast episode. Do you want to say hi? You want to say hi? Say hi. Look at the camera. Say hi. Love you, man. You ready for school today?
Yes.
Okay, I like your truck.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You have a good day, okay?
Mm.
Okay. I'll be inside in a minute, all right?
Okay.
Okay. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Aw. It's my nephew, Bursey. I think he came out here to tell me happy birthday, but he just completely was like, what are you doing? I love him. What was I saying, though? Thank you, Bryce. Thank you. Yeah, he just said it. I was like, yeah, he forgot. But that's okay. Kids are funny. I love my nephew. And I am so grateful for little moments like that, to have a family that supports me. And I was saying that this will be the last episode for a while. I hit the ground running. Like, I'll just figure it out as I go. Have my savings lined up. Like, I'm going to invest in new equipment. If y'all saw season 2, that was a little sneak peek of what Hikylabur can actually become once I get myself organized and together, you know. But I had the 3 camera angles, up wireless mic, so I didn't have to, because I was traveling to people's places of work or their homes to kind of just make this thing happen. And sometimes we got to slow down. It's okay to take a break. And that's what I'm sitting with. And I'm just grateful so much to my family and my parents for allowing me the space to actually figure life out rather than having to sink or swim at this moment. Like, okay, you got a degree, girl, go to work. But they're more like, well, you just worked really hard. You've done a lot. And it's okay to take a break. It's okay to relax, even if that means that I'm back home for a while. I'm grateful to be here, to have a supportive family, to have financial support, to have love, happiness, joy, everyone just wanting to see me win, and I can pour that back into them. Is it perfect? No, but I'm operating from gratitude, and in 22, I want to order my steps better. I want to have a plan, work that plan, pivot along the way, but it is so much more challenging when you are trying to figure out how to swim in the ocean, but you don't know how to swim yet, you know, like, you're gonna drown. But it's not more so like I'm in the ocean quite yet. They haven't thrown me into the deep end. I'm more so kind of just floating in a pool right now, relaxing and moving along as I go. But one thing I have been doing is golfing a lot, so y'all might see me on the LPGA tour in the near future. No, but I mean, that's a good goal of mine, but hey, I'm allowing God to guide me, just sit in gratitude. Today's my birthday. I wanted to get the sunrise in the background, and it's happening, but I'm just so happy, the biggest smile on my face. And lastly, before I forget, because our show was about to go in the house, those 3 questions that were asked to me on my Instagram story. The first one, easy, who's my dream podcast guest? I have 3 people that come to mind. Angel Reese, because she is that girl, you know, and unapologetically being herself, being human, and confident in who she is. I led with being human because she is a complete person. She's holistic, and she's young, and she's free, and she is doing her thing. So Angel Reese, I would love to talk to her. Simone Biles, the GOAT, why not? She is the poster board of balancing your mental health and realizing your potential, because she took a break on the world's biggest stage, the Olympics, and she still came back and dominated. That phenomenal. And lastly, Oprah Winfrey, because she is an icon. I would love to talk to her, even if it's not on camera, but just speak with her and have a conversation, exchange words, hear her wisdom, receive her wisdom and guidance. And the next question is purpose and how I found it. I did go into more depth, and I think live your making, an episode I did earlier this year where I kind of talked more so about an exercise that I did in that moment in life. I don't have time for that right now, but I will put it here. And my purpose, I would say, is to inspire and motivate others to realize their potential while protecting their mental. And lastly, how do you grow closer with God? And I feel like I've grown closer with God by first looking inside and seeking. My favorite scripture is Matthew 7, verse 7. Seek and you shall find. Ask and you'll receive, knock and the door will be open. Along those lines. And I think you have to be seeking Him first. And my family's going to work. So this is kind of awkward, but you have to be seeking God first. And that can look like looking within and actually asking God, where are you? God, what is happening right now? And allowing yourself the freedom to explore in whatever ways that looks like for you, because some people may not have been raised in a church or traditional spiritual ways, like reading the Bible. Like I didn't read much of the Bible. I heard biblical stories growing up, but I wasn't necessarily raised on it. I'm gonna give my mom a hug. Bye, love you.
Happy birthday, girl.
Thank you.
Think you're getting it good?
Alrighty. Okay. Yes, my mom just went to work, so I took a little pause to give her a hug, thank her for birthing me. It's her birthday too, She gave birth on this day 22 years ago. It's so crazy to me. But growing closer to God is seeking Him within, because that's where He resides. We like to look externally all the time, but it really is that voice, that guidance. When you say you hear God, people hear Him in different ways. We can hear Him through others and through different external things, like a bird flying by or a number we see on a building, but more so that inner direction in asking, sitting with yourself, meditating, getting right with your spirit within, knowing yourself, who you are, who you want to be, and allowing life to flow. Because in any and every instance of my life where I've had a rigid plan, rigid thoughts, and I think some structure is necessary, knowing myself, especially with this platform or endeavor. Like I want more structure moving forward. Like maybe I'll batch 10 episodes, actually do that, have them lined up like they do a TV show and then release them, and I can be doing something else rather than having to concurrently live life and do that at the same time, especially if I'm not ready to do that. So something like that. But life has a way of happening to align itself for where you want to go. And I think in The Alchemist, it's like the mysterious strings of events. And that's how life feels sometimes. Because it's like, well, and that's where introspection comes in, because you are actually sitting with those moments to see how they connect. But you have to seek that, see them, see how God is working in your life. So I think that's how I've been doing it so far. And I'm growing. I haven't figured it all out, but I am trying, and I think that's the first step, to do something about it and seek Him. So thank you for asking those questions. Thank you for being on this journey with me so far. If you came along from episode 1 up until now, thank you. If this is your first time seeing me, hello. Thank you. I'm just so grateful to you. I hope you have or are having a beautiful moment in your life. I say beautiful because it doesn't have to be good or bad to look at it in that judgmental sense, but a beautiful moment in this plane to experience what it means to be a spiritual being living a human existence. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Have an amazing day, and I will see you next time, because this isn't the end of Hikylabur, but I need a break, and I'm gonna take it. So thank you. Bye.